Hello there, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a chatting about new releases video. I feel like there haven't actually been that many interesting releases lately, which is probably good because I'm trying to cut back, but at the same time, I feel like you could do something a little bit more interesting than just, making a rainbow palette or a neutral with 3 pops of color palette and sticking some random intellectual property on the front. But today we have 8 releases to talk about, and I feel like they ended up kind of pairing themselves off. So the 4 categories of things we have to talk about are actually interesting products. Sadly, there are only 2 of those. Products I'm only interested in for the packaging, legitimately. Shade expansions, and then IP collabs, but I have something to say about it beyond, oh, it's an IP collab. So let's get right into it. I think we're going to start with the IP collab, and this is an intellectual property that I care nothing about. For me, they're more like the Don't Care Bears, but this is their collaboration with Lacquer. I don't love the packaging, I don't love the theme, but these colors are adorable. I mean, look at that purple shade, that's so cute. I love the blue, the mint. Admittedly, I have colors really similar to that bubblegum pink, but I do wear them often, and I think it's really pretty. In fact, I like every shade in this collection with the exception of this pink frosty metallic shade. And that's pretty unusual for any kind of collection for it to be, 90% a hit. This next one is an incredibly low effort IP collab, and it's just so poorly done that I think it's kind of funny. This is the Jurassic World, is it Domination? Let me look at it again. Jurassic World by Essence Cosmetics. Why? Look, I love Jurassic Park. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite movies, but I think that it is one of the probably 2 best action movies ever made. Jurassic World, I don't care at all about. I've never seen the film. I can't say I've even really heard anything great about these movies. I don't know why they've come out now with 3 of them, I think. Anyway, this collection is just so blah. It looks like any other Essence collection. They've just put some dinosaur motifs on it. That's not that surprising. I mean, how many brands do that every other week? But the thing that really stood out to me about this collection, and in a bad way, was this bracelet. This little bracelet reminds me so much of the Scholastic book catalogs. They would have like cheap books that no kid would really want to read for the book itself, but then they would package it with, say it was a horse book, they'd have this really cheap little horse necklace just to try to get those little girls who are obsessed with horses to convince their moms to buy it for them. And I don't know why, but this is just giving me those exact same vibes. And this already looked like a really cheap collection that I don't know why someone would want, but that just raised it to a whole nother level for me. Now let's move to the second category, things I only want for the packaging. And the first offender is from Chantecaille. This is the Sunbeam Eye and Cheek shade. Now the packaging on this is gorgeous. I love this lime green. It's super poppy and fun, and it completely distracted me from looking at the actual product and realizing that they made a whole collection packaged in this bright electric lime green for a mauve. I don't have anything against mauve. I think it's a pretty shade. I think it's lovely. It's flattering on a wide variety of people, but it just doesn't quite live up to the packaging. And once I take that lime green packaging away from this, I don't care at all. The second collection that I'm only interested in for the packaging is from Kiko. This is their Festival Glow collection. Kiko always comes out with these nicely packaged collections, and the last few rounds of these, there's been one set of products that's really stood out to me, and they are these quads. Now these are clearly intended to look like the Charlotte Tilbury quads, and that's what gets me. I'm so intrigued. And I know that Kiko pushes that they're like made in the same factory as some really luxe brands, and this feels like them trying to say, hey friends, guess what brand we're using a very similar formula to? And I don't know if that's true. I don't know if these are comparable in quality at all, but it really makes me interested. And their choice to put these out in really office appropriate, everyday, easy shades to wear makes me even more interested. I want to know how the quality of these things is. Is it actually Charlotte Tilbury kind of quality, or is it just wannabe Charlotte Tilbury packaging? There is a spider on my ceiling, and it's not big enough that I need to take care of it right now, but it's like there and it keeps moving around, and I'm concerned that if I lose track of where it is, I'm just going to find it on me, and that would be emotionally scarring. So let's keep moving. Should we talk about the two products that I'm like actually interested in for the product themselves now? Sure. I don't know why I'm pausing as though I'm asking for your input. I would appreciate your input, it just, doesn't help me in this moment. So first up, we have these NYX Wonder Sticks. These are dual-ended cream products. They have blushes and contours with a highlight shade. Now, the contours, that's something that we've seen quite often. It does look like NYX is coming out with a little bit of a better shade range than a lot of these brands have, which, great. But overall, not super interesting to me. I am a little bit more intrigued by these blush duos. Now, NYX is suggesting that you would use these to contour as well, that you would put the deeper shade a little bit lower down on your cheek, use the lighter shade a little bit higher up, and I think that's an interesting take. I do like the idea of contouring with blush. I like the idea of not necessarily having to add a grayish shade to your face, but adding that depth and dimension with something a little bit more rosy. That's very appealing to me. And even if the blush contouring doesn't end up being your style, assuming that these end up being at least decent quality, I think that the value is likely there because you are getting two cream blushes in one package. You're getting a little bit of a better deal on each of the individual cream blushes than you would buying them separately. This seems like a product that has some real potential. I haven't heard anyone talk about these or seen any reviews of these yet, but I'd be very interested in seeing some. Another product that I find actually really interesting is from Sol de Janeiro. Now, I really want this because I liked the Beija Flor Elastic Cream so much, the new lotion in the pink tub. I thought that was the most beautiful scent. I didn't really care one way or the other about the lotion. I feel like the lotions from Sol de Janeiro are, they're nice, but I don't think that's really what you're purchasing. I think you're purchasing the fragrance. And this Shea Rosa 68 is intended to be the fragrance version or the body mist version of that Beija Flor scent. I can't do this thing where I spend $35 on a body mist. That is ridiculous. But I am really intrigued by this. This is definitely something that the next time I am in a Sephora, or does Ulta sell Sol de Janeiro? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The next time I'm somewhere that has a tester that has this, I will definitely spritz it on myself. Anyone knows of any fragrances that are quite similar to the Beija Flor, but at a little bit of a more reasonable price point? I would be very interested in that. Please let me know. And now for the last category, which are just shade expansions of existing lines. Colourpop came out with a ton of new Super Shock shadows, and I like Super Shock shadows a lot. I feel that they are such a fun, easy way to add texture, to add sparkle to your look. I'm actually wearing two of them today. I'm wearing the purple from the Hocus Pocus collection, and then I'm wearing Ice Dream over it, which Ice Dream is most of what you're seeing in this inner corner. It's like a white with blue and purple sort of iridescent pinpoints. I love it. I think it's beautiful. This makeup has been on for 13 hours at this point, so it might be looking pretty rough, but first thing in the morning, this was looking absolutely gorgeous. And really, I think that for as bright and as glittery as this look is, it's actually held up relatively well. I might feel differently when I am editing this footage, but right now I think it looks pretty good. And there are definitely some shades within this expansion that are very interesting to me. There's a white with pink pinpoints that I feel like I could use in a very similar way to Ice Dream. There's a grayish lilac, which is one of my favorite types of shades. There's a cornflower blue with some gray in it that looks very interesting. Like I said, I love the Super Shocks. I am torn on whether I want to expand my collection of them a little bit, because I mean, I do like them, I do use them, but I'm very aware that they are a slightly more expensive single eyeshadow that is likely going to go bad on me a lot sooner than a straight powder shadow would. But they are really beautiful, and I like them. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of these ended up coming home with me eventually. And then finally, we have the new Benefit boxed powders. Now, I don't know if they're considering these a shade expansion or if they are replacing their old line. I kind of wonder, because it looks like there are some shades that are the same. For example, they're keeping Dandelion. It looks like their highlighters are the same. And there's at least overlap in the bronzers. I'm not sure if the bronzers or their Hoola range is exactly the same or getting some tweaks, but it looks pretty similar. However, they're changing the packaging. The packaging looks to be still in the box, but it looks to be much slimmer. It kind of makes me think that they may have done away with that included brush entirely, or really slimmed down the brush. The packaging does not look nearly as bulky. And they have what looks to be 11 blush shades. Only one of them seems to me to be the same, and it looks like they're also coming out with minis of some of the shades immediately. Now that's super intriguing to me, because I really like the Benefit blushes that I have. I have a trio of pink shades. Oh, the Cheek Leaders Mini Pink Squad, I think it's called. I really like it. I think the quality on those is excellent. And while I'm not interested in picking these up currently at their normal price or even the price of the minis, I know Benefit well enough to think that they will probably come out with some palettes that include some of these shades at the holidays. And, you know, if I can get 4 new shades to try for the same price as trying 2 of them regularly, and then take, 30% off on top of that with some kind of sale, that would be very intriguing to me. I'm really interested to see what people think of these. It looks like the shade range is a lot more varied and a lot more inclusive than Benefit's shade range has been previously. So I'm really interested to hear if these actually end up working for people with deeper skin tones. It looks to me, from the outside, as someone who doesn't really know a whole lot about this, like they likely would, but I'm really interested to hear about people's experiences with them. And there are the 8 or so products that have interested me over the past, I don't know, month or 6 weeks since I've filmed one of these videos. Let me know if there's anything in here that has interested you, or if you've tried any of these products. I would be really interested in hearing how they worked out for you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please consider liking and subscribing if you did, and I hope that I will see you all in the next one. Bye!